Update. Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to stop sharing everything with my sister? Original story. Hi, I'm 24 female and have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for 5 years now. We grew up together as neighbors and were friends for a couple years before dating. I love him so much that I want to marry him. His family's great and I adore them all. And it's great with my family too. He also formed a great relationship with my sister, 21 female. But the issue is that I think their bond is too close. My boyfriend and I live together, but he spends a lot of time with her. Albeit I'm sort of busy. I'm currently in grad school for engineering, so I have to go to my classes. My boyfriend works full-time. My sister is currently taking a gap year, but that 1 year has extended from when she was 18. She comes over when I'm in seminars/classes. They have tons of inside jokes and share the same sense of humor and taste in movies. It makes me feel left out. But when I try to include myself, they both stop being so enthusiastic and acting like it's super awkward to have me there. My sister and I were close growing up, but started drifting when I went to uni. When my boyfriend isn't there and I talk to her, she becomes kinda cold and sometimes says rude things. Once she told me to my face that I'm not good enough for him, that he deserves better, which made me cry for a couple days. He also gets her gifts for the most random achievements. Like he got her a present for making it through the week. Even though she doesn't do anything as she isn't currently working or trying to pursue a hobby or interest, she's just taking it easy. Her own words. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad my boyfriend and my sister are friends. But my major problem is that my boyfriend tells her everything. Literally everything. He tells her things he doesn't tell me and talks to her about me and our relationship. She knows all our issues and good parts, to a level of detail that I wouldn't even tell my closest friends or parents. She even knows the grades I got in my midterm/finals and what I think about my manager. I work part-time to contribute to our apartment, but I also get paid for my research, which goes towards our needs as well, which I feel is unnecessary for her to know since I didn't tell her myself. I asked him to step back a bit and stop telling her things about me and our relationship, but he was shocked and told me that I'm an a-hole for even requesting it. Now I feel guilty. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, but I'm 90% certain your sister and boyfriend are hooking up while you're in class. I'm 100% certain. I reserve 10% that they're just having an emotional affair, but sister at the very least would like it to be more. And when it tells you that someone deserves better than their current partner is talking about themselves. Not the a-hole. They're both grossly out of line and are at minimum having an emotional affair. Kick them both to the curb. I don't see how this is salvageable. I wrote way too many lines in my judgment where emotional affair would have cut it. Think you hit the nail on the head. Who is he in a relationship with? You or your sister or both? There are so many red flags here that I would be taking a serious look at your relationship. Keeps OP for money and the sister is a side chick to bang when OP is at home at this point. The level of we know each other very well is very unsettling, and it sounds like an emotional affair. However, I think there is more to it. OP needs to take a step back and find out. Edit. Thank you all for your responses and advice. You've literally made me reconsider everything that I thought I knew. The consensus is that there is something shady going on with my boyfriend and my sister, which just makes me want to vomit. I'm now reading into every interaction and conversation, and I feel so naive for not noticing the red flags. I'm going to take your guys' suggestions and set up some nanny cams in my apartment. Either way, it'll be good security. If nothing happens, then it'll be reassuring. And if something does happen, well, I'll deal with that after. I'm going to drive to the store right now to pick up the cameras. I'll try to update soon, hopefully with positive news. And now for the update. Hi everyone, I have an update. Unfortunately, it's a bad one. But fortunately, I didn't have to wait very long to get it. So the last update I posted was before I went to go get some nanny cams. I set up the cams at the hidden spots in our bedroom and living room area in our apartment. Today happens to be my birthday. Yay for 25. And Debbie, my close friend 25 female, wanted to take me for a day trip yesterday. My boyfriend agreed and said that we do something the next day, on my birthday. I told him I'd be out from 8 a.m. and I'd be home by 8 or 9 p.m. after Debbie and I finished dinner. Debbie took me out, but she noticed I was feeling a bit off. I was still thinking about the overwhelming number of responses telling me that something shady was going on, so I ended up spilling everything while we were eating lunch. Debbie was outraged on my behalf and agreed that something was off. She asked if I wanted to cut our day short and drop back home to see if anything was happening, and convinced me, saying that it's better to find out today than tomorrow. Yes, I realized we could have just checked the nanny cams, but for some reason we forgot about them in a moment. I'm kind of glad I didn't check, because I would have started ugly crying in public. I'm guessing most of you know what happened, as it's so predictable that I'm kicking myself afterwards for not realizing. We drove back home around 4 p.m. and it caught them literally in the act. Why were they doing it at 4 p.m.? I don't even know. We just kind of stood there with my arms folded, and I hope with a badass resting B face on, although maybe it was more a trying not to cry face. My boyfriend gave me a whole "it was an accident" spiel. I just ignored him and started packing my things. Thank God our lease was up for renewal within the month. He begged me and eventually yelled at me for packing up. The funny thing is, I bought most of the furniture and supplies. So me, being slightly petty, packed as much as I could. Debbie helped me and we loaded everything up in her car. We left some stuff that couldn't fit, but I'll go back for that later. The whole time, my sister was sitting stoically wrapped in a robe in my couch. My poor couch. We went back to Debbie's house and I had a breakdown. Debbie, the angel that she is, provided me with ice cream and fuzzy blankets. My boyfriend spammed me with calls and texts, ranging from "I'm sorry," "please forgive me," "I love you." It was only one time, to "this wasn't my fault, you should have been home more." Predictable. We decided to check the recordings, and lo and behold, it was definitely not just once. I'm really sad that the sister who used to bake cupcakes and do karaoke with me could betray me this badly. My boyfriend, well, he was my first, and in hindsight, he didn't really contribute much anyways. I spent yesterday kind of rotating through being devastated, angry, and self-righteous, but today Debbie pampered me all day, so it wasn't so bad. Thanks for everyone's support, and I hope that everyone has a good day. So after I wrote this all up and sent it to the mods, I went back to enjoying the rest of my birthday and Debbie kept me distracted. I left my second laptop. It's an old, slow laptop, and when I upgraded, I still kept it at my apartment. Turns out I had my email and stuff still signed in, and my now ex-boyfriend messed with it, and I lost access to my emails and the original throwaway Reddit account. But I did send what I had written to myself beforehand, so that's why I can update here. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this, but I hope you can. Edit. Also, I forgot to add, but I wrote up the actual update portion 2 days ago. Lol, it's not my birthday anymore, but yeah, hopefully that puts into context. Currently, I've been staying with my friend and I've blocked both my ex-boyfriend and my ex-sister. To be honest, it's a huge weight off my back, and I know this won't affect me forever. I'm so sorry, Opie, but I'm so glad you found out before something serious such as marriage or children. Your sister and ex are a-holes that deserve each other. I hope you tell your family as well. I can't believe how awful they are. I wish you success and happiness. Also, happy birthday. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I know this wasn't the outcome you hoped for, but your life is much better off without either one. What your sister did was lower than low. I don't see how anyone can look at their sibling's significant other and see a potential intimate partner. So sorry to hear this. At least you know now. If I were you, I would never forgive my ex-sister or ex-boyfriend, or ever talk to either of them again. They don't deserve to be in your life. Next story. Am I the a-hole for denying my brother a share in our childhood home? When I was 18 and my brother was 22, we found out our mom had an affair the early years of my parents' marriage. My dad was clueless about this too. She ended up leaving our dad and revealed he wasn't our bio father. Her affair partner was, and DNA confirmed this was true. Our dad was there for us, and for a few months things seemed like they would stay relatively normal. But then my brother decided he felt bad for the guy who didn't know we existed and wanted a relationship. He started treating our dad as a bank instead of a dad. Dad paid for him to meet our bio father, and then my brother acted like he was supposed to pay for other stuff for them. My dad said no. He said he didn't want to pay for anything for that man. My brother told him it wasn't for by dad, it was for him. That he is his son, and as a father he should put his hurt aside for him. When the by dad was made homeless, my brother expected my dad to pay for him to rent a place. My dad said no, and that was the start of an estrangement that lasted until my dad died a couple of years ago. The estrangement continued for so long because at age 26, my brother had our bio father adopt him again because he felt bad. He tried to pressure me to do the same, but I didn't meet the dude. My brother wanted me to, but as I told him, it held no interest to me. The man died 7 years ago, and he was broken up about it, especially because I showed no grief at all and told him it didn't upset me at all. It was after our dad died that my brother really started to feel guilt. Dad kept our childhood home and he left it all to me. Our brother used to love that house, as it was where he went through a lot as a kid, and he asked if I would split that in half with him and let him buy it one day. I said no, that I wanted to live there, and after everything he didn't deserve to just inherit his half like he did treat our dad like crap. He told me I was an A for punishing him so much, that he has suffered enough because of it, and he has to live with the consequences. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. He is absolutely right. He has to live with the consequences of his actions, and this is one of them. Guilt is not a consequence, it is a decision. It never means you should be absolved of all the real-life consequences. Top commenter is right. This is absolutely what he should have to deal with. Well, if it isn't the consequences of their own actions. It's cool that he likes the inanimate object your dad built up. Shame that he was such a horrible person to the guy who literally raised you two. Your brother sounds like a manipulative a-hole. That's how he was those years after finding out. He would manipulate and try to use guilt to get what he wanted. To the point it pushed too far and our dad decided he was done. My brother really disappointed me. Info. Is he written into the will to inherit half, or is he just demanding it? He used to be. I think Dad changed his will after my brother chose to be adopted by bio father. If the house is solely yours, he's got no say or right to demand anything. There's no sentimental value here for him. As always, from what you said, it's just another monetary value. And I think your dad was beyond nice to him to put up with this nonsense when you were younger. Just make sure the will is ironclad so he can't contest it. There is sentimental value for him. The house used to mean more to him than me. Maybe it still does to a point. But my dad made sure it was mine, and mine alone. And he can't even contest a legal kid because he was adopted by the bio. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving after I found out my brother wasn't home? I, 25 female, finished my master's degree this past spring and decided to move back to my hometown to be closer to my parents and brother. My parents are separated, and my brother Alex, 14, usually lives with my mom during the school year. I wanted to be there for his first day of high school. So I got up early, went to McDonald's to get us some breakfast, and went to my mom's house. My mom's husband answered the door and let me in. I asked my mom where Alex was, and she said he was at Dad's house. I asked why, and she told me he was staying with Dad until he could behave better with his siblings. He has 3 stepbrothers around his age. I said my usual greetings and goodbyes and made my way to leave. My mom's husband asked why I was leaving, and I told him I was going to see Alex. Looked upset, but said goodbyes anyways. I spent the rest of the morning with Alex and my dad and then drove him to school. My mom texted me calling me an A because I showed up with McDonald's in a house full of my step-siblings. I don't know them nor consider them family. I don't offer them any or wish them well on their first day. She said what I did was rude because her husband's kids saw me with food and thought it was there for them. She asked me to come back around the time they get home and to take them out so they didn't feel left out. I asked if Alex would be there, and she said no. So I told her I'd be happy to take Alex out with the kids if Alex wanted to go out with them. He of course said no. And now she's accusing me of trying to break up her family. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I'm not asking if I'm the a-hole for not accepting these kids. Preaching your miracle step family stories to me isn't really going to change that for me. I'm asking if I'm an a-hole in this exact instance, for leaving after I realized he wasn't there. Nothing more. Not the a-hole. You got the McDonald's specifically for your brother on his first day of school. If you showed up with a birthday present, would she expect you to give that to the step-siblings instead of him too? She's being unreasonable. Sounds like there may be a reason why Alex doesn't behave better with his siblings. I have a feeling Mom is putting the step-kids ahead of her own son. Not the a-hole. You're 11 years older than your step-siblings. The family relationship between you will be limited just in that nature because you're all in different life spaces. Your mom's Brady Bunch vision is unrealistic, and her accusations that you're trying to break up her family are off base. And if you're feeling spicy, point out that she is doing her part to break up the family by shipping her son off to live with his dad when things got rough, instead of working on it at home. Dad would do absolutely nothing to help things and would likely pour gasoline on a fire. But hey, sometimes I like to stir up trouble. The last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for choosing to spend my day with my brother instead of my dad after he tried to bring Step along? My dad got married last year, and for a while, his wife's kids been living here too. I, 16 male, hate it, to be honest, because there is no privacy as we have to share everything, even my room to our other two sons, Bryce 15 and Ellen 9. And everything is family time. If we're going to get ice cream or see a movie or go to the park, it has to be everyone or no one goes. Like, yeah, I guess I'm used to only doing stuff with my dad and my older brother 24, so maybe that's why it's hard. But still, we don't spend any time together at all. For birthdays, it was always a thing where my dad takes each of us out to do something special, then something later as a family together. Even when my brother was living here with us, he always spent equal time, but now every time with him gotta be shared by everyone else. My birthday wasn't last Friday. We were supposed to go kayaking, but the thing is, Bryce's birthday is same day as mine. So my dad tells me he's coming too so we could celebrate both our birthdays. But I didn't want that. I told my dad we'd never get a second to do something that only me and him. Yeah, he got other kids now, so it's not going to be the same time we spend together. But we spend no time at all anymore. And I asked him for once if this can be me and him. He told me he's sorry we don't hang out anymore, and that he knows all the time is going to them. But it's Bryce's birthday too, and he wants to come. It got me mad after telling him how I've been feeling he still didn't want to make this only for me and him. So I told him I don't feel like going anymore. My dad told me to come with us, but I didn't want to. When they left, my brother came to pick me up after I told him what happened. He took me to eat and we went to the movies, which was fun. Now my dad thinks I'm the a-hole for choosing to go with my brother instead, when it would have been nice if I was with him and Bryce. Also, that I owe Bryce an apology for skipping out and going with my actual brother instead. I don't know. He seemed like really hurt because he wanted us to do this together, and he won't talk to me right now. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your dad is doing a bad job of blending the families. You made a reasonable request and he wouldn't listen. It's good that you have your brother to help you out. The good news is you only have 2 more years of dealing with your dad's house. Dad, all you're doing is pushing me to the side because your new kid's feelings are more important. I'm sure the new stepmom takes her kids out alone. But can't his dad do the same thing? Not stay home. I doubt that message would get through to dear old dad. He would probably respond with, "What are you talking about? You're the one choosing not to come." Or some BS crappy parents say to make themselves seem like the good guys. Not stay home. Your dad really should work harder to understand where you are coming from. If he had just split the day, spent some alone time with you, and then asked you to do a family activity, there wouldn't have been a problem. He needs to own up to his unwillingness to meet you where you are at is causing this. Not stay home. I get that your dad is trying to blend the families and all, but he shouldn't neglect his kids' needs. You didn't choose your stepmom or kids. Your dad did. On another note, your older brother sounds like an awesome guy for taking you out to celebrate. Hang in there. He just knows it's been hard with my mom sick, so he'd do a lot more to be there. I'm so sorry about your mom. And that just makes your dad favoring your step-siblings even more. You deserve some extra care and attention with all of the changes and stress in your life. You are not an a-hole at all. We're hopeful she's gonna get better, and then maybe I can go back to her when it's safe.